Hello everyone, it's Marie, and I'm doing a 1-hour video. Some of my videos are 1, that's crazy. And you also hear my younger self, sort of younger self. So prepare for some voices that sound a bit high-pitched. And some of the scenes will be re-edited. I'm not going to hold you off for too long, so enjoy this experience. Ready or not, here we go.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's Marie with a new video. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and share when watching this all the way through. Subscribe to Pinner Studios if you're new here, and hit the bell to get notified. I make any genre of videos because Pinner Studios is everything. You really don't have to because I'm not forcing you to do all that. Welcome to a little history essay where I talk about the most popular franchise from South Korea called Pucca, or Pucca Funny Love. This is one of my favorite shows back in 2011 or 2012 when the DVDs used to be on Netflix. I know that's a little late, but I didn't grow up with it in the 2000s because I haven't really got around with Jetix as everyone else does. Even the animations on their website before the TV series. My experience is not that big, sadly. Before we start the history, to the people who are first timers seeing this series saying, who is Pucca? Pucca was created by Boo Kyung Kim and co-created by Calvin Kim. Pucca is a little girl who lives in a household with 3 uncles, who are the owners of the noodles restaurant named Go Wrong in Suga Village, a small village in the mountains, with their famous noodles recipe called Chachang Mayung, or Chachang noodles. Pucca has many friends and enemies. She falls in love with one ninja named Garu, who is shy to show his feelings to her, but Pucca always chases him with a kiss, also beats him in combat in unintentional competition simply by sheer will. Now the first timers got that sink into their heads, let's get into it. In the year 2000, Pucca was an animated online e-card service by the company VOO's character system, which contains greeting cards and the 2 main characters, Pucca and Garu, with comical events. However, the shorts don't have dialogue in the original, the OG of Pucca. The e-cards were successfully famous in both Korea and all of Asia to the point that Jetix Europe licensed the series and acquired television and home video rights to the service in March 2004. On September 8, 2006, Chachang Senyo Pucca. The translation from Korean to English is Chachang Girl Pucca, or mostly known as Pucca Funny Love, have been premiered in Monhwa Broadcasting Corporation of South Korea and Jetix internationally. The series was a Canadian-South Korea animated television series filled with action, adventure, comedy, and martial arts that is more of an extended version of shorts from the early 2000s, with dialogue this time, with new characters and expanded sensational settings. And not only that, the theme song composed by Plus Tech Squeezebox. VOO's continued working with Jetix Europe, making a half-minute long animated shorts, which aired in Jetix website and as in between full cartoon shorts on the Jetix TV channel. Pucca shorts were often aired on MTV, which is something I never knew about. It's crazy. I didn't know they aired it in MTV. I only know that it's on Toon Disney Jetix because I live in the United States. Jetix Europe's Director of International Licensing, Richard Woolley, says, the possibilities with Pucca were immediately apparent, especially because you were left wanting more after watching the original shorts. One episode of Pucca called A Force of One was nominated for 2 awards at the Annecy International Animated Film Festival, the Prix Juonis, sorry for the pronunciations, in the Animation and the Leo Awards for Best Screenwriting along with Best Overall in an Animation Program. There were more episodes ordered by Jetix Europe along with Studio B Productions in charge of developing them after the success of the initial shorts. There were 2 seasons, 39 episodes in total, containing 117 segments of 7-minute shorts. To do the math, it's 3 short segments in one. Count that to 7 plus 7 plus 7, equal to 21 minutes to make an episode. Just the same as Woody Woodpecker shorts in the 90s. The series was cancelled in August 11, 2008, but that didn't stop Vooz because they're still making traditional Pucca shorts in 2D and CGI animations in the mix. After all the love they received to the views and critics, Jetix began to do different activities as accessories and toys, and more revenue for the franchise as it follows. Housewares, giftware, and stationery. It was more focused on younger teenagers. Eventually, it was also include younger children and older audiences through video games of Pucca and PC gaming. Licensing of the Pucca series was a doozy for its time. It was licensed out to the Access Licensing Group to begin create Pucca products for sale in the US and had high hopes that Pucca would act as a challenge to the Disney Corporation. Then was licensed out to Warner Brothers Consumer Products. WBCP starts a promotional activity on Valentine's Day in France and Italy, a greater amount of advertising throughout different countries in Germany and Spain for expansion. Advertising in magazines has also become more fertile through WBCP. Unfortunately, while giving away Burger King toys and Pucca themed and others, the marketing was sluggish to advance in the UK and other markets to accept the franchise. 2 years later in 2010, Warner Bros. Consumer Products display a campaign of Pucca capsule collection located at Curve Collection on Robinson Boulevard in Los Angeles. There were many celebrities were attendants for the fashion show featuring Boo Kyung Kim. Not only that, there were fashion designers had inspiration of Pucca to make the best designs based on the show. A collaboration project of the clothing company, EXR, and Pucca began. It was EXR Loves Pucca, a new clothing brand in Korea. The Wonder Girls are acting as the models for the brand, involving 17 more fashionistas that will be designing the clothing line. Pucca has many themes outside television. It has a musical tour was being held in Lima on October 8, 2009 due to the praise in Latin America. 2010, Icheon Pentaport Rock Festival with Pucca. Yeah, rock on! In 2011, a theme park attraction, Wa Pucca, where it's also educational for younger audiences. There are some video footage out there and more pictures to this theme park, but unfortunately they're all lost. And there used to be in a website, but these are the only surviving footage I can show you. Looks fun, isn't it? I wish I was there. In May 30th of 2014, Pucca and Garu and other characters have a redesign, where the model looks more smooth without the outline. New facial expressions. The heads are a rounded circle instead of an oval shape like the original, and colorfully bright appearances. There are a few characters with major changes like Dada, the bad luck waiter, and dishwasher. Short after short until July or August of 2019, Pucca had a brand new series in a 3D CGI format, or a reboot to the fans, Pucca Love Recipe, which is currently airing in Tooniverse of Korea with the entertainment company called CJ Entertainment and Merchandising, which is CJENM, and Vooz, of course, still involved in the new cartoons. Hopefully, Pucca will return with an English dub on Disney, Disney XD, or get released on Netflix. Are you excited about the new Pucca show? That's all the chronicles or history of Pucca. I can already feel the nostalgic when it comes to talking about Pucca, with the cartoons, merchandises, games, plus even best fan arts and fan animations. I love this series so much in The Burning Passion. Characters are into majestic adventures and a lot of funny moments in the shorts and television series. It's a show I highly recommend you watching. You won't be disappointed like a broken light that cannot be bright. This is Marie signing out, and have a good one. Hello viewers, it's Marie from Pinder. Welcome to another brief history. Since my Pucca video received 10,000 views successfully, I've decided to make another one. I've never thought that video would be successful because of how small I am and my subscriptions barely watch my videos, except the people who didn't subscribe to me. But that's subsidiary. I am very grateful that the video had the praise it deserves. With all my blood, sweat, and tears, I decided to make this. Pender proudly presents. Ooh, alliteration. The other puppet shows that Disney brought you Bear in the Big Blue House. That is, Johnny and the Sprites. Where do I begin? This is another show I grew up with. I love the series so much with its remarkable colors, fantasy scenery, characters, and sprites, of course. Johnny and the Sprites is an American musical television show that aimed to younger audiences on Playhouse Disney, a network that was rebranded to Disney Junior. Johnny, a young composer who comes to live in his great-uncle's house to work on his music. Then he discovers the magical creatures called Sprites, who introduce him to their magical fantasy world. In return, Johnny conveys what it's like to be a human, teaching them lessons through songs, dancing, and entertainment for the Sprites. Johnny is played and created by John Tartaglia. About John, you may know him from his most famous work on Avenue Q.
You're a little bit racist.
Well, you're a little bit too.
I guess we're both a little bit racist.
Admitting it is not an easy thing to do.
But I guess it's true.
Between me and you, I think
Everyone's a little bit racist sometimes. Doesn't mean we go around committing hate crimes.
Wow, that came from ABC. But he's also involved in Sesame Street years ago. Other two mains are Ginger, played by Leslie Carrara Rudolph, an air sprite with a courageous and determined, jaunty attitude. Basil, played by Tim Lagasse, an intelligent earth sprite and knows the history of sprites, also gardening. What makes John created Johnny and the Sprites? Since Rich Ross, the former president of Disney Channel from 2004 to 2009, he asked John if he wanted to make a show for Playhouse Disney. Then John accepts because he is a Disney fan.
I'm a huge Disney fan. I mean, I go to the theme parks like 7 times a year. I mean, I'm a Disney boy. I totally am. All right, a couple more times. All right, so I am. But I was first of all excited because it was the president of the Disney Channel, and he said, I really love your work, and he said, basically, would you create a show for me? And my jaw kind of hit the floor because I worked on Sesame Street for 11 years, and
as a puppeteer.
Then Johnny and the Sprites was created. It began on October 9th, 2005. Johnny and the Sprites aired on Disney Channel, indicating the shorts in one day. That's crazy, right? Each short were 5 minutes in the Playhouse Disney programming block. Eventually, Johnny and the Sprites was getting massive amounts of positive feedback by critics and the audience. The show renewed to a 20-minute long TV series. Is the series going to be better? The correct answer is yes. The full TV series was in development, I believe, in 2006. Season 1 and 2 were made by the production company called Happy Puppet Productions and Homegirl Productions. Distributed by Buena Vista Television, now goes by the name of Disney ABC Domestic Television. Unfortunately, there's not much info about the production companies I mentioned. Heck, not even their logos appeared in the CLG Wiki. Ah well. Then the series aired in January 13th of 2007 with brand new expanded elaborated sets and characters as it follows. Lily, played by Carmen Asbar, a Spanish-speaking water sprite who is kind to nature and really loves to paint. Root, played by Heather Ashe, an earth sprite who is the youngest and shy sprite that can make plants grow just by talking to them. Now the recurring characters are Gwen, Johnny's neighbor friend, always tries something new. Sage, the old and wise sprite who was always around when the younger sprites need advice or clueless about a topic. Say more? Well, he was in the short, so he's not new. The big eater Schmoll lives in Johnny's backyard. And the small fuzzies do work for the Sprites and enjoy hanging out with Johnny. Oh man. In each episode, there is a musical number. Many of the songs were written by various notable Broadway composers. Plus, episodes features the song called Heads Up by Gary Adler and Phoebe Croots, performed by guess who? In between the 10-minute segments of an episode, so that's Heads Up. Speaking of musicals, the theme song was written by Steven Schwartz. In October of 2007, Disney MGM Studios presented a live concert of the Playhouse Disney in concerts as The Little One Travel Time, featuring the Doodlebops and others. The show was renewed for a second season in the same year in fall at Kaufman Astoria Studios in Queens, New York City. The second season premiered on January 19th, 2008. Same month as the first season. So impressive! Homegirl Productions dropped out before season 2 for unknown reasons. They were only involved in the first season. In January 4th of 2009, the show was canceled after 2 seasons. But why is a show full of fantasy, music, love, and learning from the cute sprites canceled? I got this info in Muppet Central. I'm not sure if that's the case, but the reason why it was canceled because John wants to be more focused on his new series in theaters and can't really keep up with his schedules for the Sprites much longer. Hey, that's not the last time we see the Sprites. They were in 2011 The Muppets and Muppets Most Wanted movie, but only as cameo appearances. Reruns on March 23rd of 2012 on Disney Junior and was removed later on. Here are a few fun facts about Johnny and the Sprites. The Sprites' names are based on plants and herbs. When you think about the names of the Sprites, it has a deeper meaning for their personality. In the Spanish dub version, Johnny was voiced by Diego Tapa, the host of Playhouse Disney's Latin America. And last but not least, in 2011, the theme song was rewritten and sung by Relient K Band for Disney Junior live on stage. Johnny and the Sprites, again, was a bright and wonderful show for me and everyone else who was a 2000s kid. I even remembered the countdown for the series premiere, or it's probably another show. I've seen it since the shorts opened the door to reveal our own eyes with memorable music and makes us laugh. They were the only songs I remember back then, but the rest are forgettable because it's been a long time. There are some DVDs available on eBay, but since the show is canceled, it's unlikely the show will have reprints, and the unused original prints are very rare. Follow me on Instagram in case my YouTube channel turned back into a sloth to fade off to sleep. It's Marie from Pender, signing out.
Basil, do you want to talk about your crush?
Not really, no. It's kind of on national TV. Huh? Isn't she cute? The accent's even cuter, isn't it?
Oh, do I have an accent?
No. Don't tell her, Johnny.
What?
Okay, we'll talk about it.
Oh, okay.
Not in front of
Hello everyone, it's Marie. Welcome to a documentary. Let's talk about Walt Disney. Wait, that's already taken. He is Disney, obviously. Okay, how about Craig McCrankin? He is also taken. How about some best anime creators? Leiji Matsumoto or Monkey Punch? Oh, all of them are already taken. The creators who make the best cartoons, movies, music, and video games always get talked about. Then people respect, care, and love them so much of their history and future. Now what to do? I got it. How about I switch it over? I can mention the creators who make the worst cartoons and other media of all time. We are going to the world of abstract and aestheticness. I'll probably have tons of dislikes. Let's talk about Ben Jones.
Benjamin Quincy Jones, or Ben Jones, is an American creative director of TV and animation who is a fine artist, voice actor, animator, producer, writer, and storyboard artist. Behind all of the 8-bit trip art, his family were computer collectors, a hobby initiated by his father, Frank, who was a software engineer. This really influenced Ben a lot, so he started to create his art, music, and animation career. In his career, while studying in Boston at Massachusetts College of Art and Design, he began working on an art collaboration with his classmate, Christopher Forgase, Jacob Sayoshi, and his sister, Jessica Sayoshi. The art collaboration goes by the name of Paper Radio in the year 2000, which was later named Paper Rad until their demise in 2008. Paper Rad was based on the East Coast in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Providence, Rhode Island. The place contains many variations of computer-style arts as the following: comics, zines, video art, MIDI files, and music with lo-fi aesthetics of the 90s retro tech. Their artworks also are full of bright colors and trippy. Paper Rad calls its style Dogman 99, played on the Danish filmmaking movement, Dogman 95. The rules of Dogman 99 are no Wacom tablet, no scanning, pure RGB colors only fake tweening, and as many alpha tricks as possible. That's a little complicated. Expect me to say color a lot. It does look good with its trippy and weird abstract designs of selected color schemes. These old artworks may not be the best of his work, but some are fleshed out nicely, with the characters' facial designs. As for the projects, they worked on VHS, direct-to-DVD, and one that came from MTV2. Pick a Wiener, I Dream of Zidane, Super Mario Movie, a short film way before the upcoming movie of the Super Mario Brothers by Nintendo and Illumination Entertainment, Wonder Chosen, Trash Talking, and Yo Gabba Gabba. But Ben was only the animator in the segments of Yo Gabba Gabba. We will talk about these three in a bit. In 2007, a 23-minute long animation called Problem Solverz, featuring 5 characters of the show: Dewey, T-Bubbles, Pandemonia, Rivera, Buck, and DOG, funded by Hens Endowment for the Arts Creative Heights Residency Program. The show was ideal for a Saturday morning cartoon, and also like some educational show that they solve problems. And by far the show is bright, but however, it gets a little too bright in its Adult Swim pilot. I'm gonna have to darken the footage because people may get a very bad sore from this. If this is too much for you, you can either look away and only listen to my voice, or skip to his other works. Alright? Let's go. Neon Gnome from 2008. Yeah. Not really the best artwork of Ben Jones. It looked like an artwork taken of Picasso, but with 8-bit acid and YouTube poops of colors. The colors in this cartoon are way too much. Talk about oversaturated. The original Problem Solverz human and humanoid character facials look fine, but why these two characters are like Picasso faces? They were like this in Trash Talking. Ben could at least redesign them to make the humans less ugly. Instead of the 5 in a group, it's a trio of imponious detectives who solve problems. Alfie, a large, fluffy man-dog eater who is a big eater of pizzas and hamburgers, and impulsive emissions. Roba, Horace, twin brother cyborg, who is intelligent and does have anxiety. The two are voiced by Ben Jones, and Horace voiced by Kyle Kaplan, a calm and collected leader of the Solution Group, also adopted Alfie when he was young. The same guy who voiced Mordecai from regular show is in this show. Tuck's dog, an incredibly wealthy dog who helps the trio, who is voiced by John DiMaggio. I never knew that John voiced Tuck's dog after he voiced Jake from Adventure Time. The pilot episode was produced by PFR and William Street. Released on Adult Swim's website as part of a development contest sponsored by Burger King. Burger King? That's something I never knew about. The show was green-lit, but the ratings were low at the time. The network executives later let Ben's cartoon switch to Cartoon Network because they found it too cutesy and it would fit better in a kid-friendly channel. This is where Ben Jones went downhill, and the cartoon community as well. In April 2011, The Problem Solvers was released on Cartoon Network with the production company of Mirari Films and Cartoon Network Studios. Instead of S in Solverz, it's Z because Z is more cooler than S. Sometimes. Ben was inspired by Roger Ramjet and the Rocky and Bullwinkle show. He felt very good with the character designs, cohesiveness, jokes, and timing. The show is animated from Adobe Flash like other cartoons from Cartoon Network. It even has veteran 2D digital animators Eric Pringle, Greg Miller, who created Whatever Happened to Robot Jones, John Pham, Martin Sindreda, John Vermillion, and Michael Yank. The writing progress is longer while the animation progress is comparatively quicker. I can see that because it does look rushed and very limited animation in a low-budget production. Why? There were only 15 animators working on this series. Wow. What does the show hold up to? It only had 2 seasons, 26 episodes, that is 11 minutes each. It features Ask Alfie segments and Easter eggs of cameo characters from the original cast of The Problem Solvers. Even Mordecai and Rigby, the main duos of regular show. For the reviews of the show has 1 million views at the time. It has massive amounts of negative reviews from critics and audiences from the writing, humor, and especially the art style and visuals. It was seen as the worst cartoons of all time, and in the top worst cartoons. You can say this cartoon is considered a meme, since all of the animation critics say it is the worst. So much so, one episode mentioned the haters on the internet. I'm not even kidding. You thought Teen Titans Go did it first? Think again. There were network issues to the show and put on hiatus after the first season for a year until 2013. The Problem Solvers Season 2 eventually was released exclusively on Netflix in 2013. Does that mean it redeems itself and has improvement? Well, sort of. After Season 2, on March 30th of 2013, the show was officially canceled. Ben did make the characters have shades and detailed eye pupils and fur animals with actual fur texture. That's something. It's okay to me. I give it a 5 out of 10, while Season 1 is 4.2 out of 10. I do have selective episodes. My favorite was the video game episode and the hide and seek ninja episode. I mostly like the second season episodes more than the first season. I can understand where he is coming from when you think about it. It was supposed to be abstract and give it more visuals with the colors. The executives should have kept it to an adult show because abstract stuff like this is more appealing to specific adults, specific audience, not children and teens. Okay, I'll bring the brightness back now. There we go. Now we are ready. After Ben Jones left Cartoon Network from the backlash he received from his previous show, he began working on his new series with Fox Broadcasting Company on an animation block, Animation Domination High Definition, or ADHD. That's a strange acronym. Then he was the creative director in every cartoon from the program. The July 2013 interview, Jones described the new series of more pure, raw, uncut expression of the same artistic impulse that manifested Alfie. Jones only described this series. He said, "There will be feathers." Fox announced in April 2014 that ADHD will cease broadcast on June 28th of 2014. When this happened, the development of the show was unknown. That show was Stonequackers. Seeing this title makes me think it's a stoner cartoon, but actually it isn't, because most of the writing doesn't involve ducks smoking weed. Here are a few early concepts and drawings of Stonequackers. This one I believe from mid-2013 because it has the Problem Solverz art style from the second season. From time to time, there were major adjustments to the character designs. We have this. Wow! The art style has been greatly improved. It's more calm and less oversaturated color schemes. Stonequackers was moved to FXX, making it the first original cartoon in the network. The show was released on October 27th, 2014. I already made a review of this show from the Double Ducks review along with DuckTales 17, but this time I'll talk about its description. Stonequackers is set in a fictional island of Cheeseburger Island. The series is about the surreal misadventures. Wit, voiced by Wither Thomas, a slacker duck who is prone to erratic behavior and serious of judgment. Clay, voiced by Clay Tantum, a best friend of Wit and a slacker too. Plus owns a cat named Gothfield, which is Garfield as a goth. Whitmer and Clay? That's a really fitting name for the characters. These two characters are based on the actors' names. Barf, voiced by Ben Jones, an unintelligent duck with poor impulse control, just like Alfie. Dottie, voiced by Heather Lawless, a friend of the duo's ducks with mental illness who has love interest with Officer Barry, voiced by none other than John C. Reilly, who was behind the voice of Wreck-It Ralph. Barry is a French-Canadian inept police officer who faces abuse from his family at home. And Bug, voiced by Bud Days, a naive child from a neighborhood. The series production company is Ben Jones Studios, Inc., Friends Night, and ADHD Studios. As for the episodes, there were only 12 episodes in one season. Ouch, the ratings of the show were so poor. Even their episodes released out of order from the episode list. The last episode, believe it or not, was a special guest, and that was Miley Cyrus. On July 3rd, 2015, Stonequackers was canceled. What's next? A spin-off was made called Gothball around May 1st, 2015, through July 3rd, 2015 as the same year of the original series. This is where Gothball, originally named Gothfield, interacts with the other characters who can talk often. The cat can talk, voiced by John O'Hurley. For the reception of the series, there's not really much reviews because it's a very underrated show. It has positive and mixed reviews despite the low ratings. I've noticed the international release that Stonequackers was aired on Adult Swim in Canada, and Korea that only has Korean subtitles on FX, not the dub. I'm not sure I'm right about that. I probably am. Overall, the ducks look so cute, and the backgrounds are colorfully painted, but gladly there is no over amounts of colors as the Solverz. I'm going to give this series a 6 out of 10 ducks for the art and visuals, but the writing can be lackluster as the Solverz. That's unfortunate. But I just like the episodes 1 through 6 designs better. 7 through 12 is just eh. But I do like Dottie and Officer Barry's design on that second half of the series. In 2017, after ADHD went defunct, Ben Jones went back to Cartoon Network, but only as a voice actor in the series, from OKKO Let's Be Heroes, as the real magical skeleton, for example. That wasn't the last time we see this monster. He appeared as a cameo appearance of Cartoon Network's crossover Nexus in 2018 of fall. He worked on more projects as Neo Yokio, that Jaden Smith anime, music albums of Aliens by Coldplay, and LSD's Genius. The last thing is Ben Jones' third cartoon called Art Thieves on TBS. I don't know what's with the typos. Sadly, the only description I have is this. There are no screenshots nor video footage at the time this video was made. I guess we'll have to wait on this one. In conclusion, Ben Jones had its hit and miss in the world of animation. It was surprising to see how Ben was experimental of his paper rat days and his 2 TV shows. Eventually, Art Thief will be a better show for Ben. I'm really curious about that show and what's its appearance like. But what I don't get is when most people talk about critically panned shows, the creators left not mentioned or remain anonymous of who they are and want them dead or something life-threatening. It's very unfair and disrespectful. You can hate the show, but not the creator. Off topic, I know. Ben seems like a nice and cool guy because he does had some friends from CN and any other company that he associated with after all those years. This was very fun to make after all those research. It's pretty easy than my previous history videos. Time to end this documentary. It's Marie. Thank you for watching.
This has been a long journey. Surprised you're still here. Yeah, this trip, huh? It's very... Yeah, I know. Hey, what do you say we pull off at the next rest stop and take a break? Maybe you could freshen up. We've got a while to go. DVDly speaking.
Hello, Internet. My name is Marie. Welcome to another documentary from Planet Pender. There will be a documentary of Eric Robles, who is the creator of Fanboy and Chum and Glitch Text, but we'll talk about that in another time. It's all about a guy from a special uncle to Bugs Bunny. It's Peter Browngardt. Peter Browngardt is an American animator, storyboard artist, writer, voice actor, and producer. Peter, who grew up the youngest in a large family of 8 children, his eldest brothers were very creative and filmmakers. It begins his days at Pearson Middle School, where he survived the tedium of the classroom by doodling. He gets in a lot of trouble for doodling in his notebooks. Browngardt says he was so completely focused, he began making 8mm films as a child, shooting stop-motion shorts in his basement or using the homemade animation table, which he built himself. But when it's time for college, Browngardt's top choice was California Institute of the Arts. And he got in. He believes that thanks to the opportunities he received while still a student in Pearson. That was impressive when he was there at an early age. After he graduated Cal Arts, he began his career of Futurama, The Last American, Chowder, The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack, Adventure Time, Augublick Studios, MTV, and many more. Browngardt's work on the Lattermost series began when C.H. Greenblatt, the creator of Chowder, looked through one of his pitch Bibles that he left at the studio. The concept was an uncle and a grandpa in one person. In 2006, Pete pitched a cartoon on Cartoon Network, which later was produced in 2008, then aired online in 2009 on Cartoon Network Video as part of the Cartoonsitude. The name is Uncle Grandpa. The style of the show was inspired by Pete's love of comics, Mad Magazine, Warner Brothers cartoons, and watching Looney Tunes and Tex Avery cartoons. Uncle Grandpa, based upon the various and often uncommon relatives who often drop by and visit them, as well as aspects of his own personality. Uncle Grandpa was a successful pilot, but at the time, CN executives weren't sure about having a series centered on the title character, and felt the monster characters from the pilot had more potential. Character designer Robert Tran Corey and David P. Smith, a director and storyboard artist on Dexter's Laboratory and the Powerpuff Girls, were brought on board to help shape the project's development. On August 1st, 2011, Secret Mountain for Awesome was released on Cartoon Network, a comedy show about 5 monsters known as the Disgustoids are banished from society due to their rowdy behavior and butt-ugly appearances. From their sentient and imponious mountain fort, they unleash insane stunts on the public eye. Their tusk creature leader, Festro, voiced by Peter Browngardt, is a macho party animal willing to do anything to help out his group. Even his help is less than desired. Dingle, also voiced by Pete, a thin blue creature, acts as their faithful pet and only intelligible to the group. Slug, voiced by Steve Little, a black furred monster, is blindly loyal but no critical judgment skills. Guilock, voiced by Paul Rogg, a greenball with acne, has demanding attitude and obsessed with technology. And the Fart, voiced by Pat Duke, a sensitive and level-headed buttock monster who flatulates when touched. Oh boy, these monsters look hideous, but Festro looks fine. I've seen the show before, but only a few of them because I wasn't interested in all of them, except the crossover where I'll mention it later. The composer of the show was Mike Conti of the heavy metal band Early Man. In an interview with Cartoon Brew, Pete called the process of pitching his pilot an amazing learning experience because it allowed him to propose an idea to the network and see how it can manipulate and change while you are working on it. Pete was inspired by the Garbage Pail Kids and Don Martin of Mad Magazine, but called the result definitely his own thing. Also, it was a tight schedule with the time and their battles of the network. Referring to his rendezvous with the network regarding content, Browngardt to let go and find the right balance, as well as to ask himself, is my grandma going to notice this? The reception, the show was considered well received by some critics, but mostly negative from the character designs and the art style with the limited animation. However, it won awards for Outstanding Individual in Animation at the 64th Primetime Emmy Awards ceremony, thanks to Nightmare Sauce that gave them many awards. SMFA has 2 seasons, 26 episodes, 11 minutes, and 42 segments. It even has certain episodes with the same title of the show, except For Awesome was altered as Secret Mountain Uncle Grandpa, for example. On February 17, 2012, the show was yanked from broadcast for some reason and put on hiatus. Then the remaining 8 episodes were released on iTunes from March 8th to 29th, 2012. The show was canceled after that. I don't get that CN weren't sure that Uncle Grandpa get a series because of the title character before 2013. Like, come on, Chowder and Flapjack, for instance, get a show from their names. I guess the design of Uncle Grandpa? Who knows? After SFMA was panned by critics, Peter decided to bring Uncle Grandpa back, but this time was a full-fledged TV series. He said it's more lighthearted to the children. He expressed that he wanted more variety in the music and able to go sort of a happier place, though it goes dark and heavy at times. A pilot, then a spin-off about monsters, and a grandpa is another spin-off from the previous spin-off. Confusing, I know. Uncle Grandpa was a surreal action-adventure comedy that relies on visual gags and catchphrase. Pete has cited the work of cartoonists as Don Martin, Gary Larson, and Robert Crumb, as well as Golden Age era animators such as Tex Avery and Max Fleischer when it came to developing the style of the series. The editor of the show was his older brother, Tom Browngardt. Plus is that Uncle Grandpa was redesigned by John Krafowski, who created Ren and Stimpy. Yeah, that guy. On July 27th and 28th of 2013, Cartoon Network aired a sneak peek for the part of Big Fan Weekend, followed by Clarence and Steven Universe. Eventually, the show was released on September 2nd, 2013. Uncle Grandpa, voiced by Peter, once again. A magical shape-shifting humanoid, sometimes eats edible objects, stopping by every children's houses daily to see how they are doing. The children he visits have situations of their own, and it's up to Uncle Grandpa to help them from the bizarre and surreal adventures. His catchphrase is, "Good morning." He is every uncle and grandpa in the entire world. Also in video games, basically like Santa. His clowning appearance is unsophisticated, but is well-meaning, supportive, and fun-loving. As for the vehicle, he lives and drive in a UG 2000 model robotic RV known as the Perpetual Persistence. And his friends, Belly Bag, originally Fanny Pack, voiced by Paul Rugg, and the TV series by Eric Bauza, a cyborg fanny pack who has lots of items, weapons, and dimensions inside of him. Mr. Gus, voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson, a grumpy, serious dinosaur-roid, who used to be a rival of Grandpa's in Leg Wrestle, but later became his friend and bodyguard. Pizza Steve, an anthropomorphic pizza slice, voiced by Adam Devine, who is troublesome and always brags about how cool he is. And Giant Realistic Flying Tiger, a cut-out photo of a tiger. She is a pet to Uncle and has a teenage girl, house cat, and tiger-like personality. And the episodes is 11 minutes long with a unique format. It involves the main events of the show, shorts of quick visual jokes, and segments of positive, very nice, and negative hot dog person trying new things in life. But hot dog ended up getting the pain while Barry doesn't care. Uncle Grandpa was a popular show, like the others in the era of 2010s, and has a cult following. So much so, it has 5 seasons and 153 episodes, making the longest series of Pete projects. It has video games, DVD releases, comics, and won Primetime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Animation of Afraid of the Dark episode. The international release was in India, Canada, United Kingdom, Ireland, Australia, and in the Middle East of Arabic. Just the same as SFMA, it receives positive, mixed, and negative reviews of the surreal and weirdness that people say. The specials, a Christmas special where Santa was Eugene's brother, guest directed shorts from the likes of M. Martella, Pendleton Ward, and Max Winston, Cartoon Network crossover Nexus, and the return of Festro. Uncle Grandpa Babies, this is the big one. Say Uncle was a crossover to Steven Universe that has 1.926 views in 2015. The show writer, Matt Burnett, said it was canon, but turned out to be an April Fool's joke. Rebecca Sugar made the idea of Uncle Grandpa going to the Steven Universe. It has praise and negative because UG is more weird than Steven for SU fans. On June 30th, 2017, Uncle Grandpa was canceled. A show like Uncle Grandpa was one of my favorite shows with interesting characters. As for the UG character, who was like the Santa of all of us. Also, outmost jokes and catchphrase and funny moments. Mostly, "Good morning! Good morning!" My personal favorite was the Different Animators episode. Farewell, Uncle Grandpa. It was fun while it lasted. When Peter finished Uncle Grandpa, he met with Audrey DeHee, the creative director at Warner Bros., at a lunch meeting. She mentions that he wasn't interested in. Eventually, he talked about what he was interested in. Pete said, "You know, what I really want to do is to direct a Looney Tunes short." Audrey was surprised that he enjoys Looney Tunes. Well, he has been a huge fan of Looney Tunes for a long time. she got him a rendezvous with Sam Register, the creator of Hi Hi Puffy Ammy Yummy. Pete wanted to be like the classic 40s cartoons, so he planned a cast like Bowser, and was a fan of Jim Sauper's art, so he hired him as a character designer. It even has all characters from the original series and returning obscure characters. In 2018, the initial designs of the new Looney Tunes cartoons were previewed in WB Animation logo that was first shown before Teen Titans Go to the movies. When 2020 arrived, Looney Tunes cartoons was animated by being outsourced to different animation studios. Studios like Yowza Animation, with the apps of Toon Boom Harmony, and other studios like Yarim Productions, Simple Animation, and Tonic DNA to animate the shorts in the 40s fashion. Trailer after trailer for WB Kids, it was released on May 27th in the new streaming app, HBO Max. The producers include copious amounts of cartoon violence and Acme Corporation weaponry, but get rid of any firearm range weapons of Elmer Fudd, who now uses a sight, and other weapons to hunt Bugs Bunny. It did gain controversy. That's strange that people back then, that guns seemed fine, but today in the mainstream era seems so sensitive. I guess kids today can't handle it. Oh well, I guess it's not 100% 40-ish, just 90%. Looney Tunes cartoons receive lots of positive reviews from critics of Rotten Tomatoes, Metacritic, and longtime fans of the show. It was the true spirit reboot of the original that was way better than the other ones. In Canada, the series will air on Teletoon October of the same year. To end the document, the experience I had with Pete Works was a really crazy ride for me from his Uncle Grandpa series and specials of what he had done. As for SMFA, I found the least favorite and mediocre because of the fact is a little try-hard to the designs and visuals. But at least UG and Looney Tunes make that up from that. I'll probably watch the Looney Tunes cartoons eventually if we had HBO Max. With that out of the way, I end it here. It's Marie from Pender, and see you next time. Wonderful! The bonus document is here. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It's Marie. Welcome to yet another documentary of animation creators. We are not going to Cartoon Network this time. We are now moving to Nickelodeon. Oh, wow. There is small articles about this guy. Expect this to be short. I'm really sorry to everyone who are fans of him. Let's just begin. 2 duos, 2 heroes. From Eric Robles. Eric Robles is a creator, artist, writer, producer, and character designer. Info for his background information. Eric gets into trouble at school for drawing on every occasion, then gets in trouble at college for drawing. While learning law enforcement as a teen, a teacher who saw his doodles brought them to someone who helped Eric to get an animation career. Eric spotted Graz Entertainment's Stephanie Graziano, who brought him in-house for his first internship. In 1995, his career began with the Street Fighter animated series, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, The Axe, Nihao Kailan, and more. Eric is a self-taught artist of Los Angeles, Glendale, and Burbank area, and was lead designer of several studios of Hollywood like DreamWorks Animations, for instance. In his stories of his own shows, he said, "I just wanted to tell stories about being a kid." As for Eric, his first series was based on the experience from his childhood. What the series is, you may ask. Years later, in 2009, he came up with his first ever series, It's Fanboy, part of Random Cartoons series on Nickelodeon, August 4th of that year. It's about two superhero costume kids going to their favorite store to purchase their drink, Frosty Freezy Freeze, but end up creating an ice monster. And that's about it for the pilot plot. Not really much to say except the character design. We will talk about that eventually. From Fanboy to Fanboy and Chum Chum has been greenlit by Nickelodeon after the 7-minute pilot episode. The series was officially premiered on November 6, 2009 after SpongeBob's True for Square. The production company was Frederator Studios and Nickelodeon Animation Studios. Theme song was written by Brad Joseph Breek, composed by an experimental rock band, the Mai Shi. You really got to love the melody of the theme, the 8-bit feel, and whistle that goes with it. It makes you want to shake to it from its BMP speed. About the show, there is two hyperactive and energetic superheroes who love comics very much, and Mantarctica. Not just that, with their surreal misadventures that everyone is annoyed from their frenzy antics at Galaxy Hills. Fanboy is a huge fan of comics, fantasy, science fiction, and action figures, voiced by David Hornsby. He is also a leader to his sidekick, Chum Chum, voiced by Nancy Cartwright, who is more high-spirited and hyperactive. They've been around some various characters of Boog, voiced by Jeff Bennett, a Frosty Mart employee, bully, who bops people in his presence, and really loves the game Chimp Chomp. Kenny, voiced by Wyatt Cenac, an accident-prone junior manager. Kyle, voiced by Jamie Kennedy, a smart British wizard who hates Fanboy and Chum Chum's lack of intelligence, but secretly wants to be friends with them. Yo, voiced by Diana Liu, a happy-go-lucky girl who had a mad crush on Chum Chum. And Oz, voiced by Josh Duhamel, the owner of Oz Comics, was friendly to the boys. That's all the highlighted characters I've chosen. Let's take a look at the pilot and TV series design. In the pilot, Fanboy color scheme is pale white, or white, at the bottom, while Chum is colorful with yellow dashed patches on him. The TV series version, Fanboy is purple and green, which really fits the character well and colorful. They have their own logo on their suits, which is amazing. Oh, not just amazing, it's awesome! In every episode, it contains parodies of pop culture and famous films, as well as the titles and characters. Speaking of episodes, the series had 2 seasons, 2 minutes each, of 52 episodes and 100 segments. There is a DVD called Brain Freeze that was only directed to DVD in 2011, until Nicktoons released a special in 2014. Fanboy Chum Chum was another popular cartoon from the late 2000s and early 2010s, with a cult following of 5 million people, and other countries. With all the PC games, DVDs, and Halloween attraction to promote the show, and appeared as actual costumes for Nickelodeon hotels. No, not the new one. And yes, the memes. But not as popular as SpongeBob. Eric won Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Special Class Animated Program at the 38th Daytime Emmy Awards. Despite the huge following, the show does have positive for the bubbly feeling, and negative reviews from the characters are annoying and turmoil. I honestly thought everyone loves this show back then as I do. Apparently, everyone hated this show from the writing, the jokes, and the duos. In the older seasons, it has gross humor. Then the second season is a different humor that isn't grotesque. 2013 to 2014, Nickelodeon doesn't mention when it's going to be a third season after the second season was finished in 2012. Fanboy and Chum Chum was cancelled. Where is Eric now? As the year of 2014 after Eric's first show was cancelled, he worked with Dan Milano to create a new series for Nickelodeon, Glitch Techs. Production company, It's Nickelodeon Animation Studios again, with the animation service Top Drawer Animation and Flying Bark Productions in Australia. It was announced on May 26 of 2016 with a teaser poster. Glitch Text was developed for 5 years until 2019 shows up, where the series gets a group show. Eric, Dan, and the Glitch Text crew to check out official artworks, fan art, and to see the pilot in an auditorium before the TV series. It's for the gamers and children combined. Reports say the production was stopped and employees getting laid off. Good news is, it's not canceled at the time. They decided to air the series on Netflix instead. The series was released on February 21st of 2020. The story is about two teens as Hector Five Knives, or High Five, played by Ricardo Hurtado, and Miko Mikao, voiced by Monica Ray, in the city of Bailey, where video game glitches comes to life in the real world, causing chaos and turmoil. To put it in the glitches, the Glitch Text duos use their gaming skills to catch the glitches. The show received positive reviews from the action, animation, story, and the gaming atmosphere. Looking at the covers, it's very colorful and awesome. Muy bueno, very good. The second season will be there on August 17th of this year. People in the comments will say, why am I not talking about the show more? And season 2 is now on Netflix. First, you see, I haven't watched it yet. I only saw snippets of it. Crazy, right? I'm gonna catch up one day. Second, this video was made before the second season. Here comes the bonus from Eric. Fanboy and Chum names have a cameo in one of the Glitch Text episodes. Also, Frosty Freezy Freeze was mentioned in the show. Did Eric make two shows share the same universe? Did you know that Eric was involved in Warner Park as a character designer, but was uncredited for I don't know what? Then there was Zombie Brothers stop motion short on Nick for his unique creativeness. I can see because they do look funny looking and the dark colors. And a cartoon of a prequel of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 2015. It's called Foot Clan Origins. That's where it involves Shredder and Splinter as orphan street kids to create a clan, the Foot Clan. Sadly, the show was canceled in development for unknown reasons. It's been years since I watched Fanboy and Chum with its wacky misadventures of many references in pop cultures. I'm surprised it has actual costumes for Nick Hotel, even though the show wasn't much loved as the other Nick shows. As for Glitch Text, I really enjoy the colors of the dark background with, squares, lights, yeah. And the character designs looked pretty cool. When I first looked at the show, I didn't find it interesting due to the fact I was having huge doubts about cartoons nowadays, which I probably still am. But giving it a second chance, I find it interesting. I will watch it soon, Eric. As you may or may not know, Eric has a Twitter and Instagram account if you want to see what he is doing so far. Huge shout out, by the way. It's Marie from Pender, a division of Nido Master, signing out. Have a good one. Composed by an experimental rock band. I put rock back band.
Have you ever watched a show on VHS or DVD with a AV cart on TV? We watch cartoons, live actions, movies for fun, learning, and taking notes. The cartoons of education we know from VHS is Schoolhouse Rock, The Magic School Bus, and other learning programs. There is one educational cartoon that I watched when I was in my elementary years. It took me almost 10 years to remember what it was. Around July of 2019. Hello everyone, Astro Marie in some office with analysis, and some investigation of an obscure animated series from the late 1980s. What is it? It's called The Human Race Club. The Human Race Club is a series about kids in a clubhouse of the human race. They intelligently navigate emotional and tough obstacle courses of their everyday lives. They work together to find solutions to their problems for the better tomorrow and future. From being based on books to have an animation adaptation in 1989. The creator of the series is an American writer and child development specialist, Joy Wilt-Berry, who has best-selling self-help books for kids. Where are the companies behind this production? Here it is, my comrades. HRC was distributed by Celebrity Home Entertainment, formerly Just for Kids. The production facilities are Intervision Productions Incorporation, Banquet Studios, ComSpot Inc., Live Oak Studios, Optimus Inc., and Living Skills Press Inc. Oh, rock bottom. Most companies I mentioned remains a mystery. Except Celebrity Home Entertainment. And each episode begins an introduction of the main characters as picture frames. Teddy, voiced by Eric Holland, the smart leader of the HRC. Pamela, voiced by Julie Weschendorf, also the smart and wise one. Maggie, voiced by Lisa Barry, the sassy baseball player. AJ, Andrew Jones, voiced by Jeffrey Locke, the cool basketball player. Casey, voiced by Chris Hutlow, the chubby big eater. Crackers the parrot and Sheba the dog, who are silent characters. And Joy Berry herself, but her screen time only in live action. Joy Berry introduces herself and shows us the club to see the club members' doings while Teddy starts a meeting. Moments later, they settle down to listen. After HRC members have discussions about topics they went through, Joy narrates their events of what happened earlier as background information. Then, epic logs and learning valuable lessons to the story. And last but not least, we get a musical number at the end of the episode. You are a very special person, prejudice, uncomfortable feelings, you shouldn't fight with your brothers and sisters, I will be your friend, and the one I mostly know, the money song. Human Race Club has only 6 episodes being released in the same year. Letter on Light Blue Stationery, Audrey, Pamela's friend, died from a tragic car accident. Pamela writes a sympathy letter to Audrey's family. Lean Mean Machine, Maggie's anger got the best of her from jumping to conclusions of who gets to ride the Lean Mean Machine. Unforgettable Pen Pal, AJ writes a letter from a pen pal, Joey, who turned out to be handicapped. AJ wasn't sure about handicapped people. Casey's Revenge, Casey decides to embarrass his older sister, Theresa, who wouldn't stop embarrassing him. Fair weather friend, AJ boasts about a trip to Disneyland with the rich kid, Chris. He goes out with Chris and the new guys rather than being with his old friends, the HRC pals. And a high price to pay. Jeff invites Teddy to spend the whole weekend with him to feel the experience of being in a rich family of great welfare. As a kid, the episodes I mostly know is A Price to Pay because in my class, we learn about money from our open court readings. And everything is not free. Letter on Light Blue Stationery is one of the darkest episodes I've seen because it involves death. When the first time witnessing death in an educational kids show, it was surprising and emotional to me. It shows the message right when talking about self-esteem and a very special person. Every lesson still holds up to this day, but I can't say the same about the animation. Looking back as an adult, it doesn't age well and is limited as animes from the 60s to 70s, but beyond that. When Teddy hits the mallet, it's 2 or 3 frames, and certain scenes get a little well animated. The art style seems nice, with their expressions though, but can be off model at times. They have 7 to 5 animators to work on the show, which is way more low budget than 15 people. Wait, Teddy's voice has changed. Voiced by Jethro Greenbaum? What happened? The show is now a coming of age? Teddy sounds like he is going through puberty quicker than the other members. Let's compare the two voice actors, shall we?
Just as I suspected. Listen to this. A sales representative will call on you in the privacy of your home to present your free ice chest when you purchase the wonderful Do It Right gas barbecue. You see, you get the cooler free only when you buy the barbecue.
We have an important decision to make. The Thunderbirds challenged us to a baseball game this Saturday. Are we going to accept?
Yeah!
Jethro only voiced the meeting scene and the song, not the moments in the Lean Mean Machine. I was confused when the recast happened. When the credits roll, Eric was not credited in that episode. Not Audrey either. I don't know about the other characters, though. This seems sus. Or this seems suspicious. Right now, there are 4 episodes on YouTube, but 2 episodes have really bad glitches that causes the episode to skip scramble and audio issues. Casey's Revenge and Unforgettable Pen Pal full episode is not available. Only clips of them are released. There is a website to download the episodes at the end of the clip from Joy's YouTube channel. But the website has changed it to a thigh card website. That's a bummer. At least you can see it in the Wayback Machine. Wait a minute. She has another website. It's called Joyberry Enterprises. At least that's the bigger the better version to her old one. $299 for 6 episodes? I say $300. I don't know if they still sell VHS or DVD. If they don't, I guess that means the clear quality and the full versions are considered lost media. Not even Wikipedia heard of the show. And don't even try to join the Human Race Club because they are inactive and it's really outdated. The place, of course. Sorry guys, I feel the same way. As of today, we may never know the people who were working in the show are still active or alive. We may never know why it was cancelled. In conclusion, going to a memory lane of an obscure VHS series was a fun ride to learn more about. Joy Berry did a great job helping kids to do right and take responsibilities to their family and themselves. I am thankful for it too. Reprints were released in the 2010s through late 2010s with different illustrators. To the folks who love the lessons and the series, in the bottom of your heart, you are the true club member of the human race.